Welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. If you watched the show yesterday, boy, was that a marathon. It was an epic show. It was 4 hours plus. That is not going to happen tonight, I can assure you. I got things to do, places to go, and of course, my co-host is a very, very busy man. You can't just be sitting around here all day shooting the breeze, as they say. I got to be careful what I say because last night's show was deemed inappropriate for most viewers and inappropriate for advertising. That happens from time to time, certain words that this algorithm hears. But usually I appeal and I always win. This time, I guess we went too far. Who knows? I said I better bring in a much safer guest, and that would be Matt Thorne. He's known as Mr. Safe, actually. That's his nickname. We're going to talk to Matt. We're going to talk to you guys and more right after. Just wanna waste some time with you. Sometimes it seems too good to be true. Nobody out there to waste time with you. All right, please welcome Mr. Safe, Matt Thorne.
I had no idea I was known as that. I got to watch my P's and Q's tonight, especially.
Yes.
I got to abide by these great terms I've been called. Safe. Yeah. Is that good, Don? Is safe always good?
No, but I feel like if people call you safe and then you do anything even remotely wild, it's like, oh my God, I thought he was the safe one. So
I mean, you remember I did try a sip of that Jaguar blood. That was kind of dangerous.
Well, we'll get to your Jaguar stories because there's more than one in just a minute. But I want to point out that Matt isn't just here for his health. He is a technology guy. Matt has new technology, and he's going to demonstrate some of it. Last night, if you watched the show, in the 4th hour, we decided Wednesday and I were going to show off Matt's brand new technology, and we were all fascinated. I couldn't find mine, but we went to his website, and I found it now. But we went to his website, and we watched a demo, and we thought we need to have Matt on here now to demo. Now I want to explain, Matt, there might be people, believe this or not, who aren't familiar with you. I know it's ridiculous, especially if they watch this show, but Matt Thorne is a bass player. He's a songwriter. He's a producer, mixer, masterer, engineer extraordinaire. He has a studio, MT Studios. He was probably he was a member of the band Ratt in 1981. He is the first bass player to record on a Ratt recording, to Tell the World on Metal Massacre. That's Matt Thorne.
Which is displayed right behind me, I think. Right.
Yep, there it is right there. It's actually very expensive. That's a collector's item. They're very limited. Even the new printing, very limited. The original printing, forget it. A little band called Metallica was on there as well. You had played shows. You played the Whiskey A Go-Go with your old band, Sarge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you played with Metallica, odd thing. Obviously, now looking back at how big Metallica has become, and you were a member of the band Rough Cutt. You left Ratt for Rough Cutt. Great decision, Matt.
Yeah, I'm known for those kind of decisions.
Yeah, and anyway, but a couple albums with Rough Cutt, and later Rough Cutt 3, my favorite. And so then you were also in a band called Jailhouse, and I thought I would share that with everybody. The former members of Jailhouse almost ended up in the jailhouse. You know how these things go. Yeah. But I can't divulge. But tomorrow, we're going to have a very late-breaking development in the case of a former Jailhouse member, believe it or not. I think you know where I'm going. Anyway, so that's Matt. Now you know Matt. Matt was also roommates with Warren DeMartini and Jake E. Lee back in the day. And Matt is an expert on all things, but he's especially an expert on all things technology and salmon. Matt and I just got back from visiting Texas. We had a nice time in Texas, and we're going to talk about it. But before we do that, we want to say hello to some viewers. Clint is here. Good evening, Jason and Matt. Happy to waste some time tonight. Eric Satterfield, who's a channel member. Thank you. Hey, Jason and Matt. Skylar also said he's ready to waste some time 2 days in a row. San Diego Live B points out he's a channel member. Thank you. He's fourth to comment this evening. Fourth to comment. There's no prize for that. Georgia is excited for another live show. Try to do it as much as I can. California Dreaming, also a channel member. Thank you for doing that. Fellow time wasters, Jason Holstein. A lot of the members here tonight. Happy to see Jason, and that's me. And Matt, and he's ready for 4 hours. Me and Matt can't stay up that late. Johnny's already discussing dinner plans this evening. So.
Oh, he is? Really?
Yes.
Now, is Johnny sticking to his diet? You guys kind of fell off, though. He fell off there a couple of times.
No. Johnny's diet is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
I don't think that you should like announce you're doing something. Some people feel like if I announce it, I then pressure myself into I got to stick to it because I told everybody. I think you just do it. If you're working on losing weight, if you're working on whatever it is, just do it. And then when you've made some progress, not to say Johnny doesn't look good, he has made some progress, but now he's forced to stick to this thing. It's the same with relationships. I don't think everyone has to go on Facebook and change their status, because if it doesn't work out, you then have to change it. And now suddenly you have to have a locker room press conference. Well, it didn't work out. She was, banging my friends, or whatever the case may be, or he, but Johnny, I think, likes the motivation of I'm doing this. Johnny also likes people to look at him. Not many people would do an entire show on the treadmill or in the gym, but Johnny likes.
He's an original. He's an
original, yeah. And listen, that's one of the reasons of many that I like Johnny. Lorraine is here. Lorraine missed the marathon last night because last night was Passover. Matt, were you familiar with Passover?
I know this because I have a lot of Jewish clients, and they wanted last week, which I wasn't available, so I offered them days this week, and they can't do it. It's Passover.
They passed.
They passed.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about Passover. My father's family were Jewish. I was not raised with the religion, and so I was trying to explain to Michelle about Passover, and all I really could explain was that I was banging this chick in high school who had to go to one of these seders, and I had to kill time because I didn't want to go in, because I don't think I would be good at it. I know they like to drink at these things, though. I'm not gonna lie. I googled it. They have 4 drinks, and then they read from maybe the Torah. I'm not positive.
Now I always replaced Hanukkah, thinking that was a replacement or a substitute, or Christmas could be the substitute for Hanukkah, and then Passover. Or Easter is a substitute for Passover. That's kind of how I always correlated the two, but I'm not sure if that's. I don't think that's fair.
I get it mixed up. I will tell you that Barack Obama was the first president to have a Passover dinner at the White House, which I think is kind of cool. Something a little different. People are open-minded to try different things and different faiths. I find as I get older, I'm more interested in what people, religions and faiths and history. I used to look at people who watch the History Channel, and I would say, look at these boring old people. But as I become a boring old person, I sort of enjoy learning about things that maybe I didn't know. So anyway, to all my Jewish friends watching, we wish a happy Passover.
Already I'm just on this show, and what do we have?
Well, the sales are coming. The link is in the description. I'm prepared tonight.
Oh, is that what's happening? Because it's like magic. I think everybody should come on your show, including Toyota, I don't know, Mercedes, Clearasil.
I could use some of that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to waste some time with Jason Green and the incomparable Mr. Matt Thorne. Nice. Incomparable. And Jaylee Smith with the first super sticker of the night. I'm going to need that. Thank goodness last night people were generous because I cannot make any advertising, but people were very generous.
I watched the show last night. It seemed pretty safe to me.
I suggested at the end of the show marketing ideas for Wednesday 13 to sell. One of the ideas I thought he should sell was a small device.
Be careful.
Yeah, I'm being careful. That's why you should let me discuss it, not you. A small device that people could use for pleasure, a back massager, if you will. And I thought that his fans would really appreciate that. And then we got a lot out of hand. And that might not have been it, because that was a scientific conversation. But there was a few times when certain names, it's like slowly I turn for me, and I just go to town, and maybe I shouldn't.
Well, it's hard to stay with it, especially after 4 hours or 3.5 hours. Your brain isn't quite functioning like it would fresh in the beginning of the show.
Somebody mentions if was the OJ talk. I will say that Wednesday, as usual, might have said things involving OJ and the way that things may have happened, allegedly, that could have gone too far. He also delved into a theory about the NASA astronauts who perished in 1986, I believe. And he's not a conspiracy guy, but the way he put it out there might have been too much for advertisers. YouTube doesn't care what you say. They really don't. But they do care whether their advertisers would consider it appropriate. And maybe some of those things were not. Here's your new nickname from Bill, Thorne. Mm-hmm.
That was, I think that was OJ's attorney.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Okay, so and then here is Brian Kirk with the first. This is called the Super Chat. This is Canadian, by the way, money. And he has a question for Matt, and so we'll begin the show with a question for Matt, and then we'll hawk Matt's stuff. Question for Matt: I bought the Warrior Soul Classics reissue, and noticed that in the liner notes it says you produced it. I had no idea.
I had no idea either. I probably did. I can't remember. Do
you remember a band called Warrior Soul?
I remember a band called Warrior. Maybe, I don't know. It's all a big blur. I spent 35 years in this place without leaving. I never saw the light of day. So it's all a big blur. I can't remember any of it. And I don't know who gave me credit. I guess I got credit on this thing.
I saw Warrior Soul live a couple of times. Corey Clark was the singer's name, and I saw them open for Soundgarden in Danzig, and they were like a little different. They were kind of, they weren't like a lot of the pop at the time. Well, anyway, Matt, you did a fantastic job on their record, even though you don't remember. Wayne says that bass players make the best engineers. Bill just says Paul Shortino, nothing else but Paul Shortino. Maybe he'll be
out in Mexico. He's in Mexico right now, isn't he? Or he's in Germany or something like that. He was.
He's probably looking for the cure to something. Mm-hmm. Okay, so everyone's excited, and a nice picture of you with Sean and Michael. Oh, I shared a photo today. My friend Sean Clark he drives around with a priceless Michael Myers mask in his car, and I wanted to share it for everyone. This is Sean Brown, who is one of the most generous of members. Every video, he is so supportive, and I'm thankful. Hello, Jason and Matt. Thank you, Matt, for sending me a copy of your latest album, Back the Funk Up. Is that the name of your record?
Yeah, it is. I just shorten it now, BTFU.
I very much enjoyed it, and I'm happy that you played an Ibanez bass on the album. Well, that's one of many basses.
Yeah, it was the song Raw, I think, because it was a 5-string. Right.
Thank you, Jason, for another live show. We're going to talk all about Back to Funk Up.
Why do they send you 1999? Why just make it even 20? Is that?
Were you insulting me? I mean, maybe.
Just make it even 20. I mean,
maybe there's an option that starts with that. I don't know.
Oh, because typically, 1999 is used to make things look cheaper. You know what I mean?
Well, but I don't think he'd want to do that.
I wouldn't either. I was wondering. I saw this last night too. I saw a couple of your 99s, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah, you make a good point. I think it's they give you pre.
Okay.
Now Lorraine is explaining Passover. The
Oh.
danger of Passover is if this world is not ready for some reason. Look, I'm going to get in trouble, but I always say that the Christian religion worships Jesus, who is a Jew, and it's strange to me that there's such battles between religions. But Lorraine is explaining that Passover. But I feel like if I use some of these words, the algorithm will.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Will be in trouble. No disrespect. I completely understand, but I know there is eating involved in Passover, and of course the matzah bread that's flat. And I stop me if I'm wrong, Lorraine, but I think maybe you blow like a sheep horn or something. There is a holiday that does that.
That's
Jewish
the Ricola commercial, isn't it?
Maybe I got the two mixed up. Captain Creamstain, thank you, Captain Creamstain. He says Steven's band is really firing on all cylinders now. I tend to agree. I think that we are in a really good place, and of course, matzo ball soup. Matt, do you enjoy a nice bowl of matzo ball soup?
Ramel enjoys a nice bowl of matzo ball soup, and I usually would get it from Jerry's Deli, but they since have closed or burned down or something like that. But I think there was a new place we found that was pretty good, but I can't remember what it was called. But that was her favorite matzo ball soup.
Jerry's was my favorite also. It burned down for a bunch of years and then reopened and then closed for good during the pandemic years. There is a different location, but it's not as convenient as that one in Burbank. That one in Burbank or Studio City, I don't know what you call it. Studio City. Jerry Seinfeld, after he would tape his show, would go there like all the time and had his own table. But the place that I go now for the matzo ball soup is Cantor's. Is good.
Oh yeah, that's in Hollywood. Yeah, that place is good. She would always send me there whenever she's sick. It's matzo ball soup and then some tea thing from Vanilla Bean and Coffee Leaf or Vanilla. I can't remember what that was called. That coffee shop. She always they have this medicine ball soup. I mean tea, medicine ball tea, and matzo ball soup. They're not close.
I don't want to out your generosity, Matt. But when I went down with the C, you and Ramel were nice enough to send me the soup. And
That's right. We did.
Very kind. Yeah, very kind. Sean is here, and he likes to tip with an even number. He heard Matt's question, and he says it's great to see you guys. Thank you, Matt. I hope you're not going to give out your Venmo number like Johnny does. And
no. I'm Shopify.
No, that's right. We got it. Okay, hold on. Jimbo, this is from New Zealand. Thank you so much, Jimbo. I appreciate it. And okay, let's see. A lot of people supportive today. This is Skylar. Matt, you're always so calm. But which artist made you lose your cool when you're working with them? This is a great question, Matt. I'm a journalist, and I think that is a great question, Skylar.
It is, and it's a tough one. Let me think. I have lost it before.
I mean, I know you lost it with Holy Moly, but that's not really going to help the people watching. They want to hear somebody that they might know.
I think there was a guy in here recently that was telling me to turn the volume up and then turn it back down and then turn it up and turn it back down. And I said, I can't do this anymore. I said, pick up or down. And I even handed my trackball to him. I said, here you go. So I wasn't really losing it, but I did almost quit the session because I couldn't take it anymore. I said, we're either up or down here. What do you want? Because we kept trying it back and forth. But I will say there was a story about Freddie Mercury doing this same maneuver. And I don't know if I'd lose it on Freddie Mercury, especially because he's dead. But I think
he has a follow-up question. The audience is smart now. I went to school for this, but they know. AZ, with an even number super chat, he is saying, building off Skylar's question, did Matt ever see any musicians throw fists in the studio? So That's a great question. Now, Matt, I know you're not throwing fists. You're a lover, not a fighter. But did you ever see a band like really get into it?
I have seen them get the band Trapped got into it over a cable. They didn't throw fists, but I was scared they were going to. I guess the bass player stole the guitar player's cable to use it in my studio, and the bass player got in trouble. And so I had to break up the fight that was going to end up with fists and give the bass player a cable to use. But yeah, it can happen. You know, people are touchy over their stuff. Basically, the guitar player just said, "Quit using my stuff," and then it started escalating.
It probably had happened before, and then it finally blew up. If I can say that, Lorraine points out that the ram's horn, the shofar, is more for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur in September and October. Okay, so I got my holidays mixed up, and she's also trying to do an algorithm-friendly way to explain Passover. We were trapped in Egypt, not Lorraine personally, I believe, but the Jewish people, and we got free and had to leave quickly. So our bread didn't rise. So they had some bread in the oven, and the people were coming, and they had to get out. And so the bread never arose. But now they celebrate with a big feast and 4 cups of wine, which is funny. Johnny celebrates the same way, and to my knowledge, he's not Jewish. But thank you, Lorraine, and I'm happy to share the people's holiday. Whatever people believe is all right with me. Cantor's matzo ball soup is good. Yes, Lisa, I completely agree. Ron Grande, not to be confused with Ariana Grande, says back the funk up, and I think that's the name of your record. And thank you for being a channel member. Okay. All right, we're going to get to talking about. First, I want to talk about this new technology, and then I want to talk about Texas with the people watching because I think they'd like to hear a little bit. And then at the end of the hour, we'll get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Hopefully, our bread will rise. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Matt has a CD out. This is called Matt Thorne, Back the Funk Up. It's an instrumental record. And it's I think it's 10 tracks, maybe 11. Looks like it's 11 tracks.
I think you're right. I think it's 11.
It's crazy. And on the back, I've pointed this out before, he shows you the basses he played on each song, which is very cool. And these are available right now at Matt Thorne's Shopify, which the link is in the description of this video. You can actually light Matt's phone up by ordering. Now, if you have the CD, you can also buy a Matt Thorne guitar pick with his picture on it. But if that's not enough, he has this new technology that he's involved in. He's very serious about this. It's called an NFC, right?
Yep. Near field communication.
What?
Near field communication.
Okay. Yeah, I'll remember that just as well as I remember the name of the record. So I happen to have one right here, and I want to share this with the audience, but I really want Matt to explain it to us. Now, people are already interested. This is Cornicias de el Horse.
I guess he would be from Mexico or the south of us.
He'll have to let us know, but he would like to purchase a Matt Mini CD. And Jason points out, which most know, it is the biggest selling instrumental bass album of all time in Burbank. But it is on the charts and doing incredibly well. And tonight we can push the sales. So in my hand, for the first time on this show ever, you are going to see, I believe these were made by Keebler Elves. You're going to see the Matt Thorne back to funk up.
Magic trick.
Now you're thinking to yourself, I have never seen a CD quite this small, right? Well, it also doubles, and you can see the basses on the back. All you need is a magnifying glass sold separately, and you can take a look at that. Matt might need to sell them also. It has this, so it doubles as a keychain. So you can carry this around. It's a collectible, a souvenir. And what happens is you open the thing up,
I remember you had trouble with this on the.
Well, I didn't want it to. I don't want the disc to fall out. So you open it like so, and inside is the world's smallest back to funk up CD. If you buy one of these things, Matt will have the #1 NFC bass
in the
album
world.
in the world. Yeah, not just. So there's a CD in there.
Yeah.
It's not really a CD, but it's kind of a CD. And Matt, tell us what we do with this thing.
So there's a little chip in there, kind of like when you wave your credit card over your phone and when you're paying for something. So that's near field communication. So you can't hold it 4 feet away or 2 feet away. You have to get it relatively close. And this little CD, sometimes I can get it to work without having to
Take it out.
take it out. So you wake the phone up, basically. If I can wake my phone up here. And you can hold, sometimes you need to hold it here. And I just did on the front side. And then that comes up, a little website. So I held it right here. Let's go back. Let's do it again because I lost it by the time it came. Okay, there it is. When you go there, and there is the album. So this album is proprietary to this NFC chip that's on this thing. And in here, you have all your songs.
Yeah.
You can have a gallery of pictures, videos, all kinds of stuff. So you got all this kind of stuff in here. You can also have your website. You can connect to your website, but mainly it's the music. So you have all this music. When you leave this page for somebody else who doesn't own this, they can't get back here. They can listen to it one time, but they can't come back to it. So it's a one-time thing if you don't own this. These things are really big in Korea and the K-pop scene.
I'll tell you where they're not really big. In my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, they're very tiny. Now, I saw this on Instagram where somebody at Tower Records in Japan was buying an album and they were spending $25 on these things. And there was a handful of artists that were doing it. And I was like, wow, that is so cool because we haven't had physical product to have any kind of tangible product for music. And since I think since CDs, right? Which was the 90s. So everything's been streaming. So nobody has really had anything tangible. So I saw this. I said, well, that's really cool. And also you can do more with it. You can have lyrics, you can have videos of the band, you can have photos of the band, you can have pictures of the band or whatever you want. And it's all on this. This actually doesn't play on a CD player, obviously. And some people think you're given this and then you go to a website and buy the music. That's not how it works either. This is a physical product and you actually takes you to the place where the music exists. Now I'm getting clamshells, which are about this big, which has this thing in it. So you can sign something for people.
I think me and Johnny might get the clamshells tonight at dinner as well. But what I like, Matt, is and I think the next person who orders it, I think you should have to sign it. I think people would like you to sign it. So on the inside cover, there is space. I just dropped my CD on the floor. It's not a CD. There's a space right here for you, right there, for you to sign it. So,
I can't. I couldn't even see to sign that.
You can put your initials. I don't know. It's gone. But you can put your initials on there. So somebody should test it out. Let's make sure the Shopify store is working properly. Go and order one of these and get yourself a guitar pick too while you're at it. Those are highly collectible. So your choices on Matt's menu today, or you can get the back.
Yep. And I will sign the clamshell. I'm getting the clamshells this week, so I will put this.
Oh, they'll get it with the clamshell?
Yeah, you get it with the clamshell. I'm waiting for my delivery. It should happen tomorrow or the next day. I sold these right away. Like I bought some and they were gone. So now I had to wait for the next order. So I got a bunch coming. I also got some other cool product and other albums I have that I'm gonna have. I've
Well,
been
it's
on.
funny you mentioned because I don't know what that name is. Mans wants to know, Matt, why did the Rough Cut album disappear from Amazon Music?
I think I can say this now.
Okay.
It was a top secret for a while, but we were released from Warner Brothers Records after 35 years. There's a 35-year law, and we
Wow.
were released, and now we are we have the copyright to the Warner record that we went through an attorney and got. So that's what's going on with that, and they'll be back up Friday. They've already been approved, so all the music will be back up on Spotify Friday.
Now, you guys don't have to talk to make these kind of decisions, right? Because you don't get along with all the members.
Yeah, you in the current status of how it works, the 35-year law, you have a 5-year window to get your masters from your record company. If you apply for the copyright, they have 2 years of right of first refusal. You only need the majority of the band. So the majority, we had 5 people in the band, so we had the majority, and at that point, you are approved. The record company can either offer you a new record deal, or they release you completely. And to my shock, the day that the 2-year came up, they pulled us off all digital platforms. So we had to scramble and figure out how we were going to do this. The original record deal doesn't change. So everybody who's entitled to their share still will get their share. And that's how it works. You have to do a split. Everybody has to follow through and get their split. But that's how it works. So it's not a big deal, but it's pretty cool that you can do this now. And it takes 2 years to do, and you need an attorney to do it. You can't do it on your own. But Paul Amir and I both all have the what would I call the control of the record. We don't own it. We all own it, but we have the control of it.
Malgal ordered the first one at the beginning of the show. Boy Howdy is very concerned with the audio bleed. He's obviously a technician. I think that either Matt or I have our volume.
I was told that, and I'm trying to figure out here why. It's my maids get in here, and they make sure I have the right microphone on. That could be the problem.
Matt's got a maid. Oh my god.
Oh, that's the problem, I think. Hold on.
Yeah, I turned my volume down a little.
No, that's right.
I'm not hearing it right now.
You're not hearing it?
No, but maybe the audience is. I don't know. Oh yeah. Jeff is also a sound engineer, and he says there's a weird echo going on.
Not sure. The microphone is correct. It's in the proper. Let me unmute it. Let me turn. Sometimes
I don't do anything different, so I can't imagine it's me. But I did turn the volume down a little bit.
Okay. It's on the right. It's on the right.
Let me go to the settings.
Is this better when I turn it this way? Because this shouldn't be right. Check. 1. No? That shouldn't be right. But it's possible.
Let me look at
the maids come here through things.
Oh, I muted you for a second. Hold on. I'm going to edit your mic settings. There's a thing here called reduce background noise. Maybe that'll do.
Okay. Let me try that.
I selected the reduce background noise.
Let me see. And I got the same thing. Let me turn down the microphone.
Raymond says it seems to be gone. Okay. Jeff would like to know if you tell the maid to back the funk up.
Is it better now?
Yeah, folks watching. Yes, Jeff says it's gone too. Everyone says it's gone. Whatever you did.
Sorry, I'm going to assess something I said. I didn't mean to call somebody maids. I meant to call them house cleaners.
Yeah, I think that the proper term. When I was a young lad, I grew up. I spent my summers in Florida with my grandparents, and because I didn't get along with other people, and I didn't want to go to summer camp. I didn't like fraternizing with other children. I didn't like swimming. I didn't know how to swim until I was 30, maybe 16 or something. But I didn't like it. I didn't like walking around in locker rooms with naked people. None of it was for me. So I went to Florida and I sat in my grandparents' house and I watched Get Smart and Mr. Ed and, quality TV shows who made me the person that I've become. I learned much more from the television than I could have learned anywhere else. Anyway, when I was there, my grandparents, they had a housekeeper, but my grandmother would call her my girl, and she was African American. It was tricky. And she was just getting through the whole Archie Bunker kind of colored thing. My grandparents were not racist in any way. They were actually very open-minded. But she would say, I got to clean up around here before my girl gets here. And then I would say, I think they call it a housekeeper. And why would you clean up before the person who gets paid to clean up gets here? But anyway, I thought I would share that story. I saw some nice words. Mike is here, and he says he got his package today. Thanks for the autograph pick and guitar pick. That's a good thing I should point out. For those of you who haven't signed up for my Patreon, I got this box of pictures here. And for anyone who signs up, I'll sit there and I'll sign it. And you get that. And then they each get a pick. And, Matt, I will play a chord with each pick.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many? There's a lot of chords there. You're gonna have
I'll be playing chords all night if I get enough orders.
You're
but this
gonna have to learn some
rejects.
You're gonna have to learn some minor sevenths.
I don't.
You're gonna have.
I don't know any of that.
You're gonna have to get some nines in there. So maybe even
I
some
should probably just
short
play notes, just notes.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to auction this thing off soon. This is a Funko pop that I signed and added some lyrics there. And anyway, so that's that. So that link is in the description right next to Matt. Matt, I don't see you looking at the phone, so I feel like we're not selling enough. Somebody,
I sold several actually, so we're doing pretty good. Yeah, we sold 8, not bad.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, and Matt is way more grateful than Johnny, who would literally be backdoor.
So he's selling visits to his lemon cake eat off, right? I mean, that's yeah.
Well, back to his diet, since you bring that up, he's a I don't know if you can say whore, but he gets that money, he'll eat the lemon cake, and they talked him into it. So when we were in Texas, we found that they opened a Portillo's, probably the first one in Texas, and it was right next to the venue. Well, we had to go, and Johnny had the big beef, which I don't think is in his diet.
No, that doesn't sound like it should be on anybody's diet. Maybe Atkins. Maybe Atkins.
Maybe, but he ate the bread.
Oh,
Atkins, you can have the beef, but you can't have the bread. But Johnny does look fantastic. I mean, and I've always said the way to lose weight, and Johnny follows this as well, is burn more calories than you take in. So if you eat 1,000 calories, burn 2,000 calories, you'll get in shape.
Which is really difficult to do, by the way.
Say it again?
That's really difficult to do, by the way.
It's very difficult. Well, the number I said was crazy, but if you could have a push, eat 1,000, burn 1,000. That's a push. You had a good day, and then look, is a big beef going to give you a heart attack? I mean, maybe. I don't know, but but anyway, I think that Johnny is he's on the way to being ripped. Okay, Triss is here, and Triss has a super chat. Thank you so much. Love this technology. Matt, I'm in. Hey, Jason, love the show. Big fan. Audio is fine on my end, by the way. So thank you, Triss. And we're trying to show you new things here. That's the whole thing. Chris would like to know if bass picks work on regular guitars. He's asking for a friend. I'm assuming that's humor.
They don't.
They do not. Chadsy73. Speaking of Johnny, he killed in Dallas. He killed a big beef sandwich, I'll tell you that. But I mentioned on the show yesterday that Johnny is playing a little bit more. There's been some changes to the way the Steven Band Works. You are exactly the same. You have not changed. You had a few more sequins on your outfit, but
Yes, I
other
did.
than that, you're the powerhouse that you always are. Um, Johnny's playing a few more of the Warren solos. Eric's playing some more of the Robin solos. I made the point that great guitar playing is in the hands. This is my theory. You might agree. But I've seen players who don't need any effects. They just have it. And I pointed out a guy like Michael Schenker could plug in direct and can rip no matter what because it's in his hands. Any guitar, any style, that he could do it. You know, Paul Gilbert is one of those guys. And Jimmy Crespo, who you produced and I worked with from a former guitar player for Aerosmith, was incredible. I never saw a guy play so good, no tricks, just in his hands. Anyway, so Johnny is that kind of style, that shredding kind of style, and people seem to enjoy it. And so people are getting to see a little more of Johnny, and also the other person. And here's the question, Matt: is it hard to adjust to a new drummer? The new drummer is Blas Elias, formerly of Slaughter.
It's you have to have a little more eye contact in the beginning just to see how they end things. It's really a case of them, how they retard. How they adjust the
I don't
retard.
think you can say. I don't think you could
I was
say that.
wondering. That's why I was thinking. I was
It's
thinking
not
maybe I shouldn't use
politically
that
correct. Yeah.
to anyway, you have to adjust to how they do the slow downs and the speed ups of things, and that usually typically happens at the end of songs, and they all play a little differently. I feel like Will is very on the click. Blas is kind of a little bit behind the click, and Scotty was really behind the click. If I had to talk about each one of their styles, that's kind of how I do. So you learn how they play.
I think that a lot of people learn how to play music at home through YouTube videos and things. And the first time that you get with a band, learning to play with drums can be overwhelming if you're a new musician who learned at home, and especially as a bass player. I started to realize that every drummer has their own character and style, like you were saying, and you can start to anticipate what drummers will do, especially when you've played with them for a long time. There was bands where I would play with someone where I knew there were stops in the song, and I could tell which drummer was going to play through, and I knew which one. And you do anticipate what drummers do. I think it's a lost skill for people who learn music off YouTube and things. You got to get in and play with a band to
Somebody
really.
here asked me if I ever try playing with my fingers.
Well,
That's
you always play with
pretty much always play with my fingers. I rarely use a pick. Only when I start to get a blister or something needs some more attack. And so I'm much more comfortable with my fingers than a pick.
This question has come up on the show a few times when Matt's here, and we were saying that sometimes it's based on the music. If
That's
the
right.
song needs it has a different sound. There's some songs, I've played a lot of cover songs. There's some songs that playing with my fingers is what's right for the sound of that song. More stuff I play, the pick is the. I learned the other day though that I could never be a drummer. Never, ever, ever. Blas wanted me to try his Davies, Porter and Davies drum throne. And do you know about that thing?
He asked me to do. Doesn't it vibrate? It vibrates,
Yeah,
right?
but I think it only vibrates if you have the in-ears in it. But
Right. He asked me to sit on it. He goes, you'll feel the beat. That's what
I
he's
think
saying.
you get a prostate massage while playing the drums. I don't know. Whatever is working, it's working for him. Chadsey loves Matt's playing, as do I. This, I think, is a question that we kind of already answered. But question for Matt: how do you feel about Blas joining Steven?
Well, there's a bunch of things I like about Blas. Number one, he's a great drummer. Number two, he's very even keeled. So he's not super excitable. He keeps it calm. He's very professional. I mean, I just met him over the weekend. He's a really nice guy. So so far, I mean, he's perfect addition. And the less drama around, the better for me. So I'm all in.
I've often said when you choose, I've had some history picking members for bands in my life, and I've had some history with some difficult people as well. But in the case of, I always say when you're hiring a musician, can I sit in a car with this guy for 4 or 5 hours? I start with that.
Yes.
Then I say, how's their musical ability? Then I like to say, what do they bring to the project? So Blas Elias is getting a reaction because he is known. He's multi-platinum. He's done things. He's toured. He's an incredibly handsome fella. I'm comfortable in my sexuality to say he looks like he walked out of a Slaughter music video. He doesn't age. We learned he's never tasted alcohol or drugs or smoked. Maybe one reason. I didn't drink very much. I look like shit, so I don't really know if that's it. But he and he's older than me, obviously. What he doesn't look like. People probably think I'm his father too. So he fit the bill. I had worked with him for a long time. I played with Blas, and I knew he would be good. The situation was that Scott Coogan had a lot of things on his plate, and it was very hard. And we also knew that as the summer came up, there was going to be double dipping, and it wasn't fair to Steven or to anyone to have to keep substituting. We just talked about how you get used to playing with a drummer. Well, when that drummer misses shows, you then suddenly are playing with someone else. You don't know what to expect. Some people are better than others. Some people know the songs better than others. So I thought Blas was great. When I was pitching him, one of the things I said is he reminds me of Matt as far as his even keel attitude. I said, if you're in a band with Blas and Matt, you've got two really nice guys who are quiet. You guys will lull people to sleep on stage. You obviously rock, but I can't think if I've ever seen either one of you really angry. I just don't think I have. And so it's great that he's there. It's great that people are excited. A lot of people ask, why is he not in Slaughter? That's really between him and Slaughter. But I did explain yesterday that Dana was worried that if Blas didn't like it, some of the smaller gigs that they play, that maybe he would leave and then he would lose the drummer that he has. He has a young guy named Jordan Kanata. And he also knows that Blas will do the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And Steven doesn't have any shows in December. We usually take off around Christmas. And Will Hunt can play the shows that Blas won't. So I don't always like to talk so much on the business end of things, but that is the explanation. And Matt, these people go online and they're all experts. Oh, he's just filling in a couple shows, or he's just there until Ace is no longer with us, or whatever the question is. But according to Steven, he's here for all the gigs that he wants to be. Sound check was incredibly easy, which is not always the case.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes we've had long sound checks with drum sounds or drum monitors, I would say, wouldn't you? So it's the monitors part of it all. Now, Blas are the in-ears, so maybe that makes it a little easier.
Maybe. Dr. Paul is here, and I want to...
Somebody asked me if my hearing is still good after all these years of playing. I wear ear protection. I have pretty religiously for the last, 20 years. 500 of them. I don't have 500.
Well, you got to get started. Dr. Paul is concerned you don't check your text message.
I think I can retire. Let me see, 500 times 20.
Well, he's going to want a bro deal. I mean,
that's 50 grand. Okay.
He's going to want a little deal.
49.
Yeah. Well, I just want to finish his comments. He says, since I know a guy or two from Jailhouse, I feel that qualifies me to start my own version of Autograph.
I'm sorry, that wasn't 50 grand. That's 100 grand. My fault.
Yes. Math. Well, no one said math would be on the test.
Yeah, no.
I do not like any of their songs, so we'll be playing Humble Pie songs instead. Well, that's good to know. Dr. Paul Shortino's for Autograph coming soon. I may be discussing Autograph with a member of Autograph on this show very soon. Okay. J Fry TV with Frankenstein, my favorite. You guys both must like not having to lift 8x10 Ampeg cabs, having backline way to go saves the back. Oh, 100%. 100%. Okay, and that question that you answered was Jimbo, who with the New Zealand 5 spot. Thank you. And
Now I just started using these in-ears too. I'm still trying to get comfortable with them. Last show, I finally used them, and I only had one in, and I had ear protection in my left ear and had the in-ears in the other, which seemed to work out pretty well. It feels a little sterile when you have them both in, and it might be the quality of my in-ears, but I'm not sure yet. I mean, maybe you have to step up the quality. According to Bloss, you have to have a real tight fit, which I think it feels like it's a pretty good fit, but maybe there's something to it. He's probably got the best being in TSO. Probably has like 16 drivers in his in-ears.
yeah,
One, I think.
Jason has a good question. How many unread messages are currently on your phone? Let's take a guess. Matt, before you tell everybody, you guys go into the chat and we're going to take guesses. I'm going to start the bidding. I'm going to say he has 115 unread messages, text messages. You guys can take a guess. The person who comes closest will win the satisfaction of knowing you came closest. Dr. Paul Shortino says 178. So he's taking the over. What was the number I actually said?
Well,
I think I said like one. Okay, hold on.
Didn't you say
maybe he texted you because he said it's 179. Dan says 666. Justin says 50. That's very low, I promise. Raymond says 69. Jason says 325. Sounds high. Brian Kirk says 187. That's a good number. Lorraine says 219. That sounds high. Jay Fry 220. Skylar 205. Jason 300. Headspace 93. That sounds a little low. 146.
Now, is this anywhere near like The Price is Right? When you're over, you're just out.
Yes, we want to get who got the closest without going over.
Lorraine got the closest because she's dead on. 219.
Okay, hold on. Wow, Lorraine, impressive. And it shows that after a busy trip, Matt has really not had time to get back to people. Yeah. But Lorraine, you are going to win a Passover prize. When we see you at a show next, we will make sure that you can claim your prize. Christopher asks, as a former member of Rough Cut, how does Matt feel about Paul's performances for the Dio Wear Stars project? Well, he was Matt was part of it too.
Oh, he's talking about the one that we did in the 80s? Is there a new one, or the one he's talking about?
No, I think he's talking about the.
I mean, I thought Paul was one of the better singers there. Honestly, I thought his part sounded great.
I think his part is
remember that part.
I think so too. I think he got the most memorable part. He was like the Huey Lewis part in We Are the World. You know, you never forget that part. And yes, but anyway, if you listen to Hearing Aid, Wear Stars, Matt Thorne is also on the cover, and he's maybe on the background vocals. People are still guessing.
I have no idea. I feel like I went to the bathroom at one point where it could have been the real recording, and I was just there for the photo op. I'm not sure.
At some point, somebody asked if I would jam with Ted Nugent, and I think the answer is yes. I think I would. Why not? I don't agree with him on killing animals for fun. You know, they do this thing where they say, oh, no, he uses everything in the population. Well, that's fine. But he cuts off like rhinoceros's head. What's he using? Or hippopotamus, and he smiles and he's proud of it. That's the problem I have. But would I play bass? I mean, I wouldn't tour with the guy. But if someone said, you want to get up there and have a little wang dang sweet poontang, I mean, maybe I would do it. Why not? This is a good question. I like good questions. 80s guy asks, the most famous person on Matt and Jason's phones. Who's the most famous person on your phone? I've got good ones, but
I'm not sure. I don't know. There's not any actors, I will tell you that. It's all musicians.
Yeah.
I don't really.
Your wife might have the better.
Oh, she's got. Yeah.
She might have the green on her.
She's got the better phone. Number one, she doesn't have 219 unread messages. Mm-hmm. The only thing I can say it's better about my phone than hers is that I keep things more organized. I have folders. I don't know if you've done this, but I put things in like travel utilities, I'm very organized on my phone.
I'll have to look at that. I probably need that.
I have
Um,
utilities, cameras, extras, travel, auto charging, photography. Like I have actual photos that I've created for certain apps.
I would say that the most famous person in my phone, aside from Stephen Piercy, uh, would be, I have a little of everything in my phone. I'd have to look at it again. Now, just because I have famous numbers, I probably used it twice on some of these people. Vince Neil, I mean, he's pretty famous, right? His number's in my phone. I don't think I would call him, right now, but we've messaged before. Ron Jeremy he's a superstar. But when I did Sin City Sinners, I worked with so many artists, and you have their numbers. So my phone is kind of fun. Actually, maybe on another show, I'll scroll through my phone and read the contacts and give away their numbers. No, the contacts, because there are some fun ones. But again, and then the sad part is there's a lot of people who've passed in my phone. AJ Pero from
Yeah,
Twisted Sister comes to
that's
mind.
the
Do you
sad
delete
part.
them? I don't.
No, I don't. I don't know why that is. Even family members, I still have my mom's phone number in my phone. I won't
I have
delete it.
every
I
phone
feel like
number.
it's sacrilege or something. I feel like it's deleting them out of my life. I can't do it.
Lorraine asked, "Do you have famous people listed by their real full names on your phone?" So an adult film star told me a long time ago to put her real name so that if you lose your phone, they don't find out that you have, Jenna Jameson's phone number and then call her. I think having phone numbers isn't as a big deal anymore. You can block calls now pretty easy. It's not like you go to the kitchen and get your curly cord phone. But one day I will read the list of interesting people on here. Okay, I'm scrolling here. Christy Canyon is in my phone 100%.
So somebody, Dr. Paul Sortino's going to delete Gene Simmons and block him.
That's what I saw. Yeah, something happened. Ken says he saw Rough Cut open for Dio at the Pine Knob in Michigan on the Sacred Heart tour.
Yep, I don't remember, but yeah, I'm sure
He was there. If you watch the tour diaries, the last few episodes, you get a lot of me and Matt bonding time. If you guys want to bond with us, we got up too early for breakfast one morning and we took a walk, and Matt tells some really good Rough Cut stories, really some interesting stuff. And so make sure you watch that. Oh, well, Matt and I both have this person's phone number. I think I could say that Matt texted them recently. I did not, because they don't reply to me, but it does say read when they get my messages. That would be Warren DeMartini. Uh, can you ask him if he's still alive? Well, Matt, you did better.
He's definitely still alive. Yeah, he's still doing his thing. He still plays guitar. He's still alive, and he lives in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Have you thought about sending him?
Huh?
Have you thought about sending him an itty bitty CD?
I don't know if he'd know what to do with that thing. I probably have to do a Zoom call with him and make sure he knows how to do that. It's that whole little CD tricky. It's a tricky thing to sell. People don't really understand it.
Would you? I know Steven would try to play it. Steven would put this thing on a turntable.
He'd probably try to stick it in the little place where you try to charge your phone.
Yeah, he would.
It almost fit.
I taught Warren how to set up a Facebook account. There's all these fake accounts that are not him. He's obviously not a social media type, but there is one Facebook that is real, and I set it up with him over the phone. It was sort of like talking to my dad or granddad, but he got it, and he posted once or twice. I don't think he's done much with it since.
Yeah, he's not a huge social media guy, is he?
He likes to be to himself. He's a private guy. Okay, Jason and Matt, what's the first concert you attended? Good question.
Mine was Peter Frampton.
That's a good one.
Yeah. And then I think then it was Ted Nugent.
Mm-hmm.
And REO Speedwagon was the opener. I thought, and the funny part about that is there was 3 bands the night I saw Ted Nugent in San Diego at the San Diego Sports Arena. And the first band came on. I didn't know the first two opening bands, but they came on, and I was only used to seeing two bands too. So I'd never seen a three bill, and I didn't know there was going to be. So the first band came out, which was T-Rex, and then the second band came on, and I was thinking that was Ted Nugent because my seats were so bad. So I was so far back, and I wasn't recognizing any of the songs. It was REO Speedwagon, but I thought it was Ted Nugent at first, and I was kind of squinting, thinking, I don't think I see Ted Nugent up there. And then realized later that that was not Ted Nugent. Then Ted Nugent came on.
Yeah, that's a great show. I've told this story for me on here before. The first show I saw, we were on a school trip, and they said, you guys want to get out of class today, senior trip, to go see Menudo and in Spanish Harlem with Ricky Martin. And I thought there'd probably be a lot of hot Spanish chicks, and I don't really want to go to school. I'm not going to do anything in my life with that school education. And so my first concert was Menudo. They were lip syncing long before it was cool. But I mean, I guess it makes for a funny story. Will you be doing an interview on Friday? I think so. I'm interviewing a mystery guest to talk about a legal thing on Thursday. If the interview is approved by my legal staff, that's Michelle, then it comes out on Friday. Also, I'll be speaking to Mark Goodman from MTV this week. So I would like to have that. But schedules get crazy. I like this question. Are Jason and Matt the same age? You know,
I'm getting ready to collect Social Security. I don't
Matt
know.
is a few years older than me.
Where are you at, Jason, on the Social Security?
Yeah, I'm close to AARP. Not quite Social Security.
Yeah, I was able to get my driver's license a while back, and then I think the next was I was able to get into clubs, bars, and then now the next venture in life is Social Security.
Yeah, to get into a casket. Have you ever used senior discounts of any sort?
I tried, and they turned me down at the Do It Center. I thought it was 55, and I was wrong. And it was embarrassing too. They asked to see my driver's license so I could get.
Where were you?
At the Do It Center.
The what?
Like a Home Depot. It's the Do It Center.
Oh,
like I
know.
was buying some screws and I don't know what else. I was going to save $1. And I thought, but try the senior discount deal. And no, I was rejected.
A lot of places do 55 now, way more than before, especially here in Vegas. I am not 55 yet, but 55 is a senior here in Vegas.
Oh, no, they've raised it now since the pandemic. Now you have to be in your 60s and 70s, I think, before they can get there.
I don't see you ordering the Moons Over My Hammy or the Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity, but if you went to Denny's, you could get a deal.
Wow.
I don't want to say Johnny's age because that's between Johnny and his bookkeepers, but Johnny is. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but Johnny's a little tight when it comes to the cash. He likes to save money, which is why he's messaging everyone in the chat right now asking for Venmo. No, but I asked him, and he just said he doesn't really remember. And I think that happens. You don't think, well, I could go save a few bucks.
Well, here's the thing: is now I've been rejected. You know how that feels.
It's scary.
I don't think I'm ever going to try again. I mean, that really kind of put me back. So I'm not going to be in the near future looking for senior discounts.
I book our airline tickets, and they ask, "Are there any seniors in your group?" And then I thought, well, I can't lie. And obviously, Stephen Piercy is. Stephen will be 68 this year. July 3rd. I'm already working on a birthday present for him. I can't say it because someone will tell him. But anyway, but he's a senior. He doesn't look like it. He certainly doesn't act like it. He's still the life of the party. Speaking of life of the party, Sean Brown, with another super chat, 1999, he said, "This is a technical question for Matt and/or Jason. I have 2 older Ibanez basses with dead frets. Do you think I should have them repaired, or should I just buy new guitars?" And he said, in closing, I'll figure out how to get the extra penny in. So I think he is selecting a pre-chose thing. That is why you get that number. So what should he do? Should he get these dead frets fixed, or is it time to move on?
Well, the Ibanez guitars aren't the most. They don't appreciate as much as the Gibsons and Fenders and Martins and Gretches and things like that. So I don't know if I'd invest in so much into an Ibanez. Maybe if it was from the 70s, I might, but because they're harder to find, but they're not real rare guitars.
He's
And
made a bass here too. It's a bass.
yeah, yeah, basses don't appreciate as much as guitars. So I would say that if you really liked the bass, that's valuable only to you, then yeah, get it fixed. But if you're looking to thinking that you're going to get your money back out of this repair, I don't really think you will. I think that if it was a Gibson or a Fender, I would say go for it. An older Gibson or Fender, I would say.
Well, if you like them, it's not that expensive to have the frets worked
No,
on, though. I don't think. I mean, you could always get it appraised.
but the new Ibanez's aren't any worse than the old Ibanez's. Unlike unlike a Gibson, sometimes the age of the guitar was better in the 70s than it is now. So yeah, I get that, but Ibanez, you're still going to get a nice bass.
Yeah, you know what you can get is right here. You can get Matt Thorne's brand new instrumental bass funk masterpiece, #1 on the charts in Burbank. Right now, you can order this. While we're here, and there's featured products. There's 3 of them. You can get the CD for those of you who are purists. For $20, you can get the CD, and it fits into a CD player. But for those of you who really want to try some new technology, NFC technology, if you will, this is it makes also for a handy dandy keychain. And you get bonus content. That's the main thing. You get stuff, pictures, and all kinds of notes. And then for those of you who are collectors, the Matt Thorne limited edition full color guitar pick. So you can get those right now at mattthorne.myshopify.com. A link is in the description. Go show some support. You know, and Matt is nice enough to come here out of his busy day. He tried to reschedule this 5 minutes after he agreed to it. So it's a good
Well, I
thing.
realized I kind of wanted to come in on here with the clamshells and everything, but
I see.
So let me. Somebody's asking again, so I'm just going to show how this thing works again. So here's your phone. You wake it up, and then you put it here. Yeah, there it is. And then you get the website that it comes to. You go there, and then it comes up, and there you go. Now
it has a bonus.
I could bring my dancing bird in here, and it would probably dance to the song. It really likes funky stuff. It's an African gray. But anyway, this NFC. Let me turn this off. I can't listen to it anymore. Okay.
I think it's suitable for advertising, though.
Yes. Okay. So anyway, these are little NFC CDs, and there's a chip in here, and this chip gets programmed. Let me open this up, and then this is the little CD. Now I have some coming that are a little brighter than this. This was my first run that I wasn't really sure how I was going to do all this, but this little CD has a chip in it, and when you hover this over your phone or on the back of the phone, this will go to a website, and it's proprietary to that website. So if you try to go back and you don't have this little chip, you cannot get back in. Now, for those who have Androids, the Android's a little different, I hear. #1, you have to turn on the NFC reader on the phone. You don't have to do that with the iPhone. And the iPhone NFC reader's right around here and right around the back here. Supposedly the Android is in the middle right here. So you have to make sure you have the NFC reader on or download an NFC reader app. Now, I did notice one person had an iPhone 11 and it wasn't able to come up on his, and I'm not sure why. Maybe he had a setting strange on it, and I didn't really have enough time to figure it out.
Matt's giving you the longest pitch ever. Just buy the thing; it'll work. It's easy.
You figure it out.
If you have an iPhone 11, you're out of luck. You got a keychain. You know, I mean,
if you lose it, too bad. It's like if you lost a CD or your key fob your car, you're gonna have to buy another one. I'm sorry.
To answer the question, does Matt get mistaken for Bryan Cranston? The answer is all the time, but Matt doesn't know who that is. But But yes, everybody, every time Matt is on the show, people say he looks like Bryan Cranston. Not always Breaking Bad. They say he looks like Bryan Cranston from Malcolm in the Middle. But we do get this constantly. But Matt is not
Well,
aware of those people.
I don't know. And how old was Brian Branston, this guy, in the middle episode, whatever you're talking about, the second?
Maybe a little, probably younger than you now.
Okay. Well, that's always good. That's a good compliment. Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Jimbo's going to start his afternoon shift at work, and he's looking forward to the next tour diary. I've been working on the next tour diary right now. It's fantastic. I got sick on the trip though, so there's not a lot of me. It's mostly other people or me laying in bed, but it's coming. P bass or jazz bass? That's a good question for Matt. I have my own answer.
I like both. If you're looking for a specific sound, that P bass, you can't get it with anything else. It's going to sound like a P bass. A jazz bass has a little more versatility to it, so you can get it to sound a little more dark, a little softer, but you can also get a lot of growl out of it. So I would say the jazz bass is more versatile. It's a skinnier neck, so it's a little easier to play for the person with smaller hands. But I mean, I like both. I mean, I think they both have a lot of use. I like the Rickenbackers. I like the jazz. I like the Rickenbackers. I like the Gibsons. I like the Guilds. I like the Gretches. I like it all.
Matt, are there any memories from the Never Gonna Die video?
Mm-hmm. We got lost in this warehouse. I mean, literally. There was an underground tunnel. Not the kind of tunnels you hear that are underneath Vegas, but there was an underground tunnel, and there was lots of sharp turns and things like that. And we did get lost, but we were lost in I was Tarzan, and Superman was one of us, and I think Amir was Batman or Robin. So you got these crazy people underneath tunnel dressed as these Tarzan, and I was only in the little what's that little thing? The little thing that Tarzan wore around his waist with the
Loincloth.
Yeah, I was only in the loincloth, so it was cold in underground, and it was Canada, so it was, and it wasn't on the Vancouver side of Canada. It was on the Quebec side of Canada. I mean, no, I'm sorry, the
Montreal,
the Montreal side of Canada. Very cold. Nova Scotia, I think we were at.
good question, Jeff. Thank you. I always like when we get a little something that we haven't talked about before. I want to talk a little. I get through these, and then we had a great time in the great state of Texas. We went to, and I talked about it a little bit yesterday with Wednesday, but we went to the zoo. The CEO of the zoo, his name is Tim Morrow. He invited us, and I said, "Well, we're going to the Alamo," and he was nice enough to set us up at the Alamo, and we held a lot of artifacts. I said, "Who do you think had the most questions?" And sometimes ridiculous questions. The answer would be Matt. More so with the animals, though. Matt is an expert on reptilian creatures and birds. And if you stay tuned to the tour diaries, when we got to Maryland, if you like me and Matt doing ridiculous things, we talked to a sloth, and we walked through neighborhoods that were very bad. And Johnny's there too for some of it. And anyway, that's coming very soon. But we did get to hold. We went into a place where we got to hold artifacts. I don't really remember much about it. All I could think is, why do they let idiots like us do this? As Indiana Jones says, it should be in a museum. We did hold John Wayne's raccoon hat that he wore in the movie The Alamo.
Yeah, I was not supposed to pass that hat myself. I think I made the mistake of handing it directly to Johnny, and I was scolded. And
No direct pass.
The hat had to be returned to the historian before you could pass it on. So I didn't hear that rule, and I missed it, and so I was scolded, and I had to give it back to the historian, and when he gave it to him. But I guess it's to prevent something from happening, like breaking.
The idea that he explained was, if he drops it, giving it to you, it's his responsibility. But if you drop it, passing it to somebody else, it would be your fault, and that is why he collects these items. We held the sword of Santa Anna. That's a big deal.
That is.
I'm told. Yeah.
Now, what was the coat that was gold with the big gold buttons? Who was that? Whose coat was that? Was that his too?
Maybe there was a bust of him. We learned that Phil Collins is the biggest collector of Alamo material. We learned that somebody in the band messages himself everything I say and then posts it as if he knew it himself. You can guess who it was. Because I was educating everyone on the spot that Ozzy relieved himself. I did the homework and I showed everyone that spot. And then I asked the question that everyone wanted to know, which everyone has asked me since we've been home. Did I see the basement of the Alamo from Pee-wee's Big Adventure was the question. So, and I did ask, and they did get a laugh and say that they hear that every day. We went to the zoo, and Matt and I rode on the back of the golf cart, and we got to see animals, which was great. I'm always torn about zoos. Are they being fair to these animals? Is this the right thing? And I interviewed Tim, the CEO, and asked him those questions, and he gave me some great explanations. We had free reign to see these animals. The animals seemed like they came to us willingly. They didn't have to. Nobody forced these animals. They know the trainers' voices, and they know that they're going to get a good meal. So much like Johnny, they show up, because they like a good meal. Joker Blitz, I was going to skip this question, and then he super chatted, and now we have to answer it. Are there any new bands that Matt or Jason listen to? Led Zeppelin, probably, Matt, right?
No, I don't listen to any old music. I like Royal Blood. That's actually kind of old. I just don't. I'm overall the stuff that I liked when I was a kid. It doesn't do it for me anymore. I've listened to it too many times. I mean, I must listen to Led Zeppelin. I've worn out cassettes, albums.
No, I get it. I was sort of joking that that's the newest thing you're listening to.
I'm done with all the old bands. I mean, I still respect them, and I love the way John Paul Jones plays, but I'm not like I'm not listening to them. I like to hear new music and hear what they're doing. That's more entertaining for me than listening to stuff. I like the production, put it that way, on new music.
I listen to Olivia Rodrigo. She's a hot young sensation, and I'm listening to her record. It's called Guts, and that's the newest thing that I listen to. Here's a long one. Henry J. Jason, you never talk about how you and Steven hooked up and took a liking to each other. It's like we're dating. And started working together. You seem more like a Ramones type of guy, and Steven is kind of glam. Well, I don't agree that Steven is glam. I mean, Ratt definitely had the appearance, but I think Steven is Matt knew him the longest. You've known him since late 70s, early 80s. But I think Steven, he liked Van Halen and things like that. He also liked Led Zeppelin, but he liked classic rock. I don't think that I would call
Adam. He likes Duran Duran.
That's true. Well, that's pretty glam. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I liked glam too.
After that.
Yeah, I liked glam too. But when I grew up, I was fortunate that we weren't really pigeonholed. I liked punk, but I liked glam. I liked some rap music. I liked a little of everything. I didn't feel like I was judged for what I listened to. I never wanted to look like a Poison, for example. Growing up in New York, we would have got beat up if we did that. But I did enjoy some of their music. How I met with Steven, I'll give the shortest version of the story. I was working with a band called Fake Ratt. And when Fake Ratt fell apart, there was some legal issues, and some people needed some help from me with these things called declarations. And I went on a show, and I spoke for 45 minutes without letting anyone ask a question. And it reached the attentions of Warren DeMartini, Juan Croucier, and Stephen Piercy. I was going through a personal thing in my life. Someone I was close to passed away, and Stephen reached out, and he was very, I'm trying to think of the word. He was very sympathetic, but he was also very spiritual. and he told me about the loss of his sister and how he dealt with it. And Stephen believes in ghosts and spirits. He believes that he still communicates with Robin and things like that. And he gave me some really good advice. This is kind of deep because you expect all lighthearted Stephen stuff, but it was very deep and it was very important to me. And I did like him. And but I think right before that, though, the band, Stephen Piercy solo band, was playing Sally Steele's Vegas Rocks Awards. You were there as well.
Yep.
And I directed the show. And I
You
got
did?
yeah, I did. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Sure.
Small world. I directed all 5 of them for her, first 5. But Greg D'Angelo introduced me to Stephen, and we kind of hit it off. And for a lot of years, he asked me to tour manage for him, and for some reason or another, it would fall apart. Finally, I went out on the road with Ratt, with him and Juan, in like 2018, and it was a tough time. I think there was some bad management. There were some issues with the band. I wasn't tour managing. Oh, they hired me to tour manage a gig. I'll never forget this. They hired me, and it was a festival, and the entire festival got canceled the next day. But they made me pay for my own plane ticket to get there. And Juan said they would give me the money back. $800. It took a year to get that money out of Juan.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Did you get?
But some festival in Iowa. But anyway, 3 years ago, Stephen asked me to get on board. I did. One of the first things I said is, we got to get Matt Thorne back. It's a true story. I'm not being funny. We got to get Matt involved. And you were recovering from some back surgery, I think, right?
Yeah, bad back surgery. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I was in bed for 3 months. I couldn't get out,
and certainly wasn't ready to sit on planes for long periods of time and things like that. But anyway, so that's the short version of that story. We're going to get out of here in just 8 minutes. We'll do 90 minutes tonight, which is still a little longer. Okay.
Somebody asked me what kind of basses I use. I've been using the same on this last year. I've been using the same bass every show, and it's a Gibson Les Paul bass, 1991.
I like it. I played it. It's light
with Thunderbird pickups in it, and it comes with the Thunderbird pickups, but they add all this electronics in there, like biamps and preamps and what have you. And I ripped all that stuff out and made it passive.
Mm-hmm. Jason points out that my directing skills, he hopes they're better than Sally Steele's interviewing skills. And I would say no comment, but of course they are. I think Matt is excusing himself. Let's see.
I'm back.
He's back. Okay. Hold on. Let's add him back. Jason, where? Oh, now it's just Matt. Hold on. Jason, where did you go to school and what did you study? Pretty wise, my man. Sharp tongue. That's what they call me, old sharp tongue. I went to school in Spanish Harlem in New York City. For a little while, I went to Hunter University in Manhattan. I went to a thing called the New School for Social Research, Lang, where I studied journalism. It was all pointless and worthless. Everything I learned from listening to Howard Stern and watching David Letterman, and everything about the music business I learned from traveling with smarter musicians like Matt.
Thank you.
Yeah. And just to retouch before we get out of here, you should go see the Stephen Piercy band. Stephen is also sounding better than ever, and he was never Pavarotti. You know what I mean? But boy, he sounded good, and people really enjoyed it. There's a video floating around, and everyone is so complimentary about everyone. Some of the changes, the Out of the Cellar album still happening with a few bonus songs at the end. What I like is it's different songs each night. Sometimes the sets are always a slight variant. I think we changed too much in the 2 shows, but I think Cellar first and then an encore with a couple different tunes is fun, and I think that's. I think that is what you'll get, but it's fun to alternate. I see fans now; they look at the set list and they're happy that they got to see something different. But Out of the Cellar is certainly working, and people are singing along and enjoying those songs. And again, you can see us in Virginia Beach And then in maybe Richmond, there's 2 shows in Virginia. You go to officialstephenpearcy.com. I've advanced them, but I don't think I couldn't remember the names of the place off the top of my head. So, but it's 3 days in a row. May 2nd, which is the birthday of Matt Thorne. We will be celebrating Matt's birthday. Bring presents, and then that's in Virginia. And I believe the opening band that evening is Faster Pussycat. Just for your birthday, we knew what would Matt like for his birthday. Faster Pussycat. So
no idea.
Your wishes here. Most people didn't know. May 3rd, another show. Lorraine, thank you. Lorraine knows. Hopewell, Virginia, and Virginia Beach. And then on May the 3rd was the other one. And then May the 4th, my mother's birthday, another Taurus. We will be in Columbia, Maryland at the M3 Festival. Here's Jason with the dates. Only a few tickets remain. So you want to get them now. And I'll be honest with you, since Bloss has been involved, there has been a major uptick in sales. People are going crazy. And so you want to get in on it. And Stephen is going to be great, as always, at the M3 Festival. And you want to be there. So, okay. What is Matt's favorite song in the set?
I think, I've always been a fan of Lay It Down, but I think In Your Direction. I don't know why. It's fun to play. I love the middle section.
Mm-hmm. It's fun to listen to these songs, and then you can change your opinion. Someone asked, any chance of I Want to Love You Tonight? Great song, but I don't think there's a chance. There's so many good songs. I can tell you that it's been tossed around that maybe next year he plays Invasion of Your Privacy. If that happens, you get to hear some.
Now, I used to do when I was 19, we used to play Never Use Love. That's on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love that one.
I just like that song.
I prefer Invasion to Cellar. I know that's odd, but I do.
I do too. Yeah.
A little, I think the band was a little bit more together. It's a little more pop metal or whatever.
I do like Way Cool too. That's got a cool groove.
Yeah, definitely. July 19th will be a great card as well. 80s Rock Invasion, Toledo, Ohio. Jason will be there. You're going to get a Slaughter, minus Bloss, Vixen, Steven Adler, another great drummer, Great White, and Stephen Pearcy with Bloss Elias. And tickets are almost sold out. This question is. Say it again.
It's nice that Bloss doesn't double dip.
No. One, it's he only headlines, no double dip. Did Matt play on Steven's acoustic album?
I didn't even know there was an acoustic album. So
I'm not sure I knew it either. Well, are we going to have an official time? I'm interested in doing something like this. I'd like to do like get-togethers. The problem is, well, we could do it. It's got to be after the first show at M3 because we do fly in that morning, so it's not a lot of hanging out. But maybe we
really
could do.
So we're flying in the same day. We're our first gig.
Yeah, the last gig. There's 3 days in a row. So the first night we fly in the day before, then play 2 in Virginia back to back, and then we fly to Maryland, Baltimore, and we play that show. And then the next day we head for Z Hills, as they say. So there will be more tour diaries, and yes. Anyway, let's recap for those who just joined us. 300 people have been watching all night. Matt Thorne's Back to Funk Up CD is available for those of you who are purists of physical media. You can buy the CD right now. For those of you who want to experiment, you want to get a little risque, this is for you. This is an NFC. Pretty soon, everyone's going to have these. You're going to want to say that you had this before anyone else. Microscope sold separately. It opens up very easily. All you do is,
you're going to have to buy a new one.
You won't have the same problems as I have. Well, I know the guy.
Bitsy won't eat it.
No, actually, I could probably get a deal. Anyway, but you can buy those right now. Matt will initial the inside, or he says that it'll come in a case. Tomorrow, Matt, I'd like to see a picture of all the orders that are going out. so
I
that I
will.
know that it still works and that.
But I have to wait till I get this. I think they're coming either tomorrow or Thursday.
Okay,
I
well,
sold out of the first batch immediately. I couldn't believe it.
Matt did the remaster of Sweet Savage. Listen to that last night. What is that?
I don't know. I'm telling you, I have no recollection of any of this music. I don't know why. I mean, there's been people in here 5 days a week for 30 years. I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
There
do
you go.
understand. So go to his website, links in the description, and go sign up for my Patreon. Like this video. That's the easiest thing you can do. It'll help. Like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. I was waiting to find out what Sweet Savage is, but Johnny's waiting for dinner. I can't be dicking around all night.
Good start.
Let's see. All right. Anyway, Matt, it's been great chatting, and
Yeah.
I hope you keep coming back and doing this as long as you can come up with new media. You know, pretty soon. Who knows what Matt will have next? Give it a try. I like to play the FMK game. Matt, I don't think he's ever played it. I don't even know who these people are. I know Heather Langenkamp was from Nightmare on Elm Street. These other two are probably B horror actresses. Matt's a married man, and he's much classier than me. Well, he doesn't have time for this. But tune in tomorrow, and I'll sit here.
No idea. I was thinking Dana Kimmel is the sister of Jimmy Kimmel.
I mean, I was going to go that route as well. Anyway, I thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again probably tomorrow. And new tour diaries, new interviews, all that stuff. All right. We'll see you again soon. Thanks, Matt.
Okay, bud.